So let's talk about the distance between 2 points. One thing is the distance formula works when you have a right triangle. That's what it's based on. If you think about it, I can take any 2 points in any plane and turn them into a right triangle by adding a third point that has a right angle, right? That's how the distance formula works. If the lines are horizontal or vertical lines, you don't need to do that. It's just straight math. So let's look at these lines here. So the first one says, tell whether the points given are vertical, a horizontal line, or a diagonal line. Think about graphs. So think about a graph. You didn't take the pass with you. Go fill it out. Her. You too. All right. So let's look at this line. Do you notice anything? Are the x-coordinates the same? Look at the two x-coordinates. How about the y-coordinates?
Yes.
If you think about what it means is the y-coordinates are exactly the same all the way across. What kind of line is that?
Straight line.
When the y-coordinates are the same, what is it? It's a straight line, but is it horizontal or vertical? Horizontal. So this is a horizontal line.
Oh.
The y-coordinates
Are we going to have to write that when they give us the paper?
are the same. You already have a paper.
No, I mean, like when we have to answer it, are we just going to y coordinates are the same?
No.
Okay.
So it's horizontal because the y-coordinates are the same.
What the crap? I'm sorry.
Hey. No.
Now, let's look at number 2. Number 2, are the x-coordinates the same?
No.
Are the y-coordinates the same?
No.
So what kind of line is this?
Two lines.
Is it horizontal, vertical, or diagonal?
Diagonal.
It is diagonal. I'm trying to write lowercase here. Diagonal. I don't need that right now.
Diagonal.
Look at this line here. Are the x-coordinates the same?
Yes.
That means that line is all the x-coordinates the same. What kind of line is that?
Horizontal. No.
It is vertical.
Ha.
Because the x-coordinates
Yeah, oh my goodness.
are the same.
Wait, vertical is like.
Vertical is straight up and down.
Oh.
There are too many odd conversations, Travis.
You called me a loser.
So, horizontal is straight across. It's the horizon. So when you look out, you see the horizon, that's horizontal. Vertical goes straight up and down. Now, in the case of a horizontal line, because the y-coordinates are exactly the same, all I have to do is find the difference between the x-coordinates and I know the length of the line. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, it's -8 minus -5.
Oh.
And then whatever the absolute value is. So what's 8 minus 5?
3.
So the coordinates are, the length is 3.
3. 5.
When you look at the vertical line, it's the same thing. What's 100 minus 0?
100.
The length of the line is 100 units, whatever it happens to be.
Plus 2 zeros.
Leave other people alone. Okay, again. So, now, the distance formula is really used when we have diagonal lines. If you have a horizontal or vertical line, you use the distance formula, one of them is going to equal 0, which won't make any sense to do it. So distance formula is fancy. It says x squared minus x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared is our distance. It's the length of a hypotenuse.
Why?
Because. So let's look at our points here. I've got 3 points here, and I can make myself a right triangle So I make myself a right triangle. You guys make a right triangle too. Make a right triangle also. Bryson, make the right triangle. So, we already talked about there's a couple of ways to solve this, right? We can find the length of the sides. So if I've got a graph and I'm using the distance formula, I'm really working too hard. What's the distance from R to Q? Count it.
5.
It's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What's the difference what's the length from R to P? 6. So if I wanted to find the length between P and Q, I could use the distance formula, which seems lengthy, because all it's going to do is give me these two numbers, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I'm better off going 5 squared plus 6 squared equals C squared. That's just easier there. Now, distance formula, if you look down here at the bottom where we don't have any graphs, look at these bottom two. There are no graphs. Again, if I've got graph paper, honestly, I'm probably going to use it. But let's use the distance formula. The distance formula says D equals, write it down, the square root of x2. Now, let's go up. Am I going too fast?
Yes.
Okay, I'll slow down a little bit. Catch up with me. So, the easiest way to do this is label your points. That way you don't get lost. So this is going to be x1, this is going to be y1.
X2, Y2.
X2, y2. Now, I labeled them. That way as I'm doing my math and I'm putting them in spots, I won't lose my place. I can have a conversation, somebody can annoy me, distract me, I can still come back. Okay? So, this one, the distance formula says x2. What's x2?
2.
2 minus x1, 6 squared, plus y2,
Negative 4.
-4 minus
Negative 3.
-3. Make sure you cover that negative there. What does this negative become?
A positive.
It becomes a positive.
Is there a square at the end of it?
I did, right there.
Nope.
No, you don't need end solve. All you need to do, remember, anytime you've got a variable equals a string of numbers, you don't need end solve, just type that in. Just ignore the variable and equals. So the square root of 2 minus 6 squared plus -4 plus 3 squared. Do it. Calculate it.
I'm trying.
Calculate it.
Calculus. How is it backwards?
Remember, use your parentheses.
Oh my gosh. I did. Can I say the answer? No.
Mary, did you get this? Bryson, did you get this?
Why do we have a calculator?
Because they were hogging them over here.
Oh.
Get it done.
I don't know if I did it right.
Who's not turning on? Oh wait.
Try the on button.
Okay.
I'm pressing the on button.
I know the answer.
It worked now. Wait.
So,
I see it.
really, if you think about this, what I'm really looking at as the square root, what's 2 minus 6?
5.
-4 squared. Plus, what's -4 plus 3?
2.
-4 plus 3.
5. Wait.
How about if you do the math instead of blurting answers? And go spit out that gum.
It's -1.
That was nice.
Okay. So what is negative 4 plus 3? Negative 1 squared. So,
It's negative 140.
Kaylin, what'd you get? Kaylin Thorson. What'd you get? Why not?
Is that what she said?
If you make no effort, you get back exactly what you put in.
No, but you can have problems and stuff to school and I'm very different today. But I share my stuff.
We've got 4.1. Is that what you got?
I got 12.
I will tell you that the hypotenuse is, listen to me, the hypotenuse is always longer than any leg, and since I've got a leg here that's 4.
So it's 12?
No, it's 4.1. If you typed it in exactly as it appears up there, using the negative inside parentheses, if you use the subtraction inside parentheses, you got a mess.
Yep, no, it works. I got 4.
I did too. Wait, did the doctor?
Tyler, did you get this?
No, I got yours.
If you didn't get it right, try it again. Did you get it right? Landon, did you get this right? Instead of doing the other conversation, did you? Christian, did you get this?
Yes. Yeah, I got it right. Told you. Bam. Boom.
Anybody still having problems?
No. Yeah, I am. With my partner. What's down?
I got 4 points.
Yeah. I see point.
It'd be like 4.12 and around to the 10. You figured out why?
Really not Tracy. I'm just letting you
My face has glitched down. Yeah, that's why.
I think I had somebody else in there. I don't know who it was. She couldn't see. Actually, you can't.
It's like a minute.
All right. So let's try the second one. Let's try this second one. Again, label your points. Those of you still having conversations, stop. Trayson, sit down. You can't now because you're under 10 minutes. Okay, so I labeled my points. That makes it easier for me. Because I know that D equals the square root. What's the first coordinate in there? Tyler, what's the first coordinate in there?
0.5.
Why'd you say that?
Because it's X1. It's X1.
But we want x2, right?
So it'd be negative 0.4.
It'd be negative 0.4 minus, what's x1?
0.5.
Squared plus
Negative 1.2 plus
negative 1.2 minus
minus 1.3
squared.
You should get the answer after that.
Carly, focus.
You need 3-1.
Type that in.
Give me a second.
I said the answer's 30. Got it. Who's
Type that in. Type it in.
Can't have a temporary.
Yeah, that's what he said.
They see this difference.
I got green.
You already typed that in?
No.
Bryson, put the glue stick away. You don't even have a book. You shouldn't have a glue stick at all.
I have one. It's just in my bag.
I'll move it up.
Thank you.
I don't want it out.
There you go.
Time.
Remember,
I got the answer, Jesse.
it's x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Kirsten, what'd you get?
I got.
What'd you get, Kirsten? 2.6. Are you rounding? You got. If you listed 2.5, did you round up to that tenth? Just straight up 2.5? Well, then, is it 2.65? Then it should be rounded up. If it says 2.65, it should be rounded up to 2.7.
Okay. I got 2.6.
Travis, Rancy, stop conversing about. I don't care. I don't want your conversation. It's 2.7. Shh. You got to round right. Rancy, go spit that out. The gum. What do you got in your mouth? Okay. All right. Remember distance formula. If they give you graph paper, hey, go that way. But if you've just got a pair of points and you want to know how far apart they are, use the distance formula. All right, put your stuff up.